I don't like the big boys hitting us and a prefect sending us out for nothing.
When he was 7, Paul was in care in a children's home in London. Were you happy at the children's home in England?
We didn't mind that really, because we didn't know what was going on, because we were a bit young then.
Well, as far as I know, my mother and father they separated originally, I think. They eventually got divorced. I went to the boarding school for 1 year and then we immigrated to Australia.
Paul settled with his father and stepmother in a suburb of Melbourne. What mark has it left on you, the fact that you were brought up within a bad marriage?
The only thing I can say that I think might have come from that is just my lack of confidence and being able to show my feelings, really, I suppose.
Do you like to get married, Paul? Tell me why not.
I don't like say you had a wife, say you had to eat what they cooked you, and say I don't like greens. Well, I don't.
I know I prefer to be alone, really.
I can't say I don't want to get married, because I think I do. But I want to be happily married, you know, and therefore I want to make sure, I think.
What was it that you fell in love with? What is it about him?
His helplessness, I suppose. It was the motherly instinct in me to pick him up and cuddle him. And he's also very good looking, I think, but he doesn't agree with me. And in the summer, he's got this cute little bum in shorts.
I mean, I can tell quite a few stories here, but the one that really irritates me the most is when we have an argument, he says, "That's it, leave me." And I say, "Fine, all right, I will one day." We had our 20th wedding anniversary this last just before Christmas.
Which is the life sentence.
Yeah. Everyone reckons that we should be out of jail by now.
To a certain extent, we started thinking, well, do we really know each other now? Because you just get in the humdrum of going to work, coming back home,
running kids here
and there, and I don't think you mean to, but you probably stop thinking about each other a lot.
I find it hard to express emotion most of the time. Although I'm getting on top of that more now, you know. I mean, just a simple thing to say to sort of Susan, you know, I love you, something like that. I mean, I can tell you about it, but I really haven't been able to say it freely to Sue, you know.
It's a bit hard to talk about. I did end up having to get a bit of help, and it wasn't directly due to our relationship. It started at work, unfortunately, which brought my self-esteem down, which tended to affect everything else. And I was just very fortunate that I saw a local doctor, and with her help I started coming back to normal, thinking properly. I mean, I was feeling a little bit worried about the relationship because I felt like I hadn't progressed, I was going backwards, and I mean, I still believe that. I was thinking that, why would Susan want to be with someone as sounds funny, but as boring as me? I mean, because there was nothing there. I mean, what do I do?
How do I say it? It was a shock that he got that low and that he doubted the relationship, because one thing I've always known is that Paul's never doubted his me, you know, it's always been there, and I've never doubted it either.
Did the physical side of your marriage suffer?
I think it did. I think it did, really.
For a little while. But we promised ourselves when we first got married that we'd never stop, you know, touching or, you know, being affectionate towards each other, and in front of the children. We've always been, and even now with the children, we still embrace a lot, both Katie and Robert. I mean,
Katie will sometimes say, "Mother, stop it."
I was going to be a policeman, but I thought how hard it would be to join in.
I just haven't made up my mind yet. I was going to be a phys ed teacher, but one of the teachers told me that you had to get up into university.
At 21, Paul was a junior partner in a firm of bricklayers. By 28, he'd gone out on his own as a subcontractor.
I think when I started work for myself, things were looking good for me because it was out of school, something I was very enthusiastic about. But I was chasing the dangling carrot, but never got there. because I mean, really, I'm a worker and not a businessman.
By the time he was 42, Paul was doing factory work, making signs for a plastics company. What's the future for you at work, do you think?
Well, I mean, the job's still there. I've had talks with them about whether they were ushering me out the door, and they say they're not. Not that I'm that old, but it's a bit of worry about getting a full-time job with my skill levels.
Sue had been a hairdresser for most of her working life. But at 49, she has a new career as an occupational therapist in a retirement home.
You know, you might be in your 40s and getting older, but you still have a lot to add, and you can learn to go in a different direction. You know, I call this my sea change.
Do you have ambitions?
Not really now. I mean, I've been in this job 10 years and never asked for a pay rise. That's just what I've always been like.
Has it affected home life at all?
It has affected a little bit because I'm not there at home as much as I used to be when Paul got home.
It can be, and I'm sure I'm not the only one, it can be quite startling. You get home and you think, there's no one here.
When I've been here for 30 years to be home to.
It's really different.
Oh, a good fist away by Russell.
By the time they were 28, Paul and Sue had 2 children, Katie and Robert. Katie did well at school and got a place at university to study archaeology.
There are photos of the dig in Cyprus that I went on, and we were digging in Bronze Age tombs that are around the village.
I mean, you're the first person in the family to go to university. Was it a struggle for you?
It was a bit, because I had to do it all by myself. I had nobody to really help me because Mum and Dad couldn't help me with my essays or things like that.
What does university mean?
I'm pretty happy with Katie. I'm not having a go at Rob, but I've got fears for Robert because he's struggling a little bit.
Robert is trained as a car mechanic.
He's got reading and writing difficulties, and I mean, he's coping with that. I mean, we'd like to see him be a little bit more proactive with doing literacy course now he's a bit older. But just day-to-day troubles of making ends meet with money, it's always hard.
Yeah, he went nuts at me for using the phones. No more fucking backyards, you cunts, you fucking do this all the time.
What's Robert got that you gave him?
Moodiness. I think Robert's even a little bit more moody than what I've ever been. He's not your average relaxed 21-year-old.
What you doing? I mean, we only had 2 children because we thought that we couldn't love any more children as much as we loved our 2, and now we've got our 2 grandchildren and we just love them.
You love them as much, you really do.
Yeah.
With Rob and Stacey, we don't really know how long they're going to last for, and I keep my fingers crossed they will last. We can only hope that they work at it like we do.
That's better. Thank you.
In their 20s, Paul and Sue sold up, bought an old van and travelled across Australia.
I think it brought us close together because we really got to know each other and relied on each other so much.
One of the most important things we ever did with our children was spend time with them, and particularly when you've got holidays. To actually, which a lot of parents do, go camping with them.
We've been camping there now. We've